Hey you guys, and welcome back. I am continuing on with my drugstore makeup stash series. Today I'm going to be doing bronzers and contour products. I do have some palettes to share with you as well. Rules I was kind of basically going with was that I would only include a palette if it didn't have any blushes in it. So anything that had a bronzer, a contour, and a blush, I left out of this video. I hope that made sense. It made sense in my head, but now when I'm saying it, I feel like that did not make any sense at all. I have coffee in a boring mug today. Oh, and I managed to get lashes on. In the video that I just filmed doing this full face, I wasn't able to get lashes on, but I managed to pop some on. If you have the same problem as I do with lashes constantly irritating your eyes so that you can't wear them, I actually found that if I cut them in half, like pretty much almost exactly in half, and apply the lash just to the outer side of my eye, I don't get that allergic reaction. So it's only when the lash goes too far into the inner corner, then my eyes start getting watery and bloodshot and irritated. So like all of my drugstore makeup stash videos, I will go through each of the products and give you guys a little bit of background on them, what I think about them, and I'll do some swatches as well so you guys can see what they look like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's go ahead and get started. Just decluttered my collection and I got rid of a lot of makeup, so I actually don't have as many bronzer contours as I thought I did, and I think it's because I just got rid of a whole bunch. But I think I'm also going to declutter a little bit in this video as well because I have a lot and it's way too many. Like, I don't need this many. So the first one I want to talk about is this Rimmel natural bronzer. It's the waterproof bronzing powder in the shade Sun Bronze. I think it's actually one of the first, maybe the second bronzer that I ever purchased. So I'm pretty sure I've had it since like 2016 at least. I don't know if I should get rid of this or not. I mean, I have hit pan on it. I have used it quite a bit. Like, this was my go-to bronzer back in the day. I actually think I might get rid of this one. I think it's kind of done its time. I never reach for it anymore. It sits at like the back of my drawer. I actually don't even think I can give this away. Looking up close, it's got all this like hard pan on it. It was a really, really nice bronzer though. It's a really good formula. It's very easy to blend. It lasts on my skin all day, and it has a nice warm undertone that makes you look very tan. But like I said, I think mine's just old and it's time to get rid of. I might see if a sister wants it because I don't feel as bad giving it to like a sister. Otherwise, I'm just going to toss it. Next bronzer that's also really old and they don't actually sell it anymore, but it's such a good bronzer, is the NYC Sun and Bronze bronzing powder in the shade Montauk Bronze. I have hit pan on this one as well. I use this one a ton. It's not as old as the Rimmel one. I did get this more recently. Well, it's old, but it's not as old as that Rimmel one. It's a really nice formula. It's very soft and creamy, and it's actually still in like top shape. Like, there's no hard pan or weird bumps on it or anything. Very natural bronzer. It blends out really, really nicely and it's just really good. So I will pass this one along. Next we have another one of my favorite bronzers. This is the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster in the shade medium to dark. Medium to dark, but it's really not dark at all. So I think if you were any darker than me, this really wouldn't work for you. And honestly, it only works for me when I'm at my palest. Physicians Formula is definitely more expensive. So I think this bronzer was more like a $16 to $17 product, but the formula is really good. And if you can find it on sale, I feel like this is a classic one that hopefully Physicians Formula will never stop selling. The shade range, of course, sucks. Like, it's the worst shade range. I don't really have that much product left, so I am going to continue using this one, especially in the winter when I'm at my palest. Next, we have this Milani Baked bronzer in the shade Soleil. This is a shimmery bronzer. All of those other ones were pretty much matte. The Physicians Formula one I just showed you has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's basically matte. This one is the first shimmery bronzer. This is one that I like to pull out in the summertime. I haven't used it that often just because I feel like I reach for matte bronzing powders a little bit more. This one is a nice formula, especially if you want something that has a little bit of shimmer in it. This one's a really, really good option. Soleil is actually quite deep, also warm, so it gives you that perfect like glowy tanned look in the summertime. They do have some lighter shades of this as well. I don't know if they have deeper. They definitely have some lighter versions of this. Anyways, it's a really good shimmery bronzer, and I do like it, so I'm gonna keep this one, especially since I don't have a lot of shimmery bronzers. So it's good to have, I feel like, at least one that you can kind of jazz up your look a little bit when you want some shimmer. I feel like I have been sick for weeks now. I still have the sniffles and I'm still sneezing every 2 seconds. I don't know, it's not going away. Like, I don't know what this lingering cold is, but it's very annoying. My newest single pan bronzing product is this e.l.f. Primer Infused bronzer in the shade Perpetually Tan. I wear this one quite a bit. It stays in my everyday makeup drawer. This one has been a go-to for me recently. It's a very, very finely milled and soft product. It's almost buttery and creamy. The thing about this one is that it's quite pigmented. So when I use it, I like to use a stippling brush so that I don't apply too much of it. Even though it's pretty intense, it's easy to blend out. This shade in Perpetually Tan's a bit warmer. It's got more of like a, I don't know, like a mustardy kind of brown undertone to it. It's definitely warm, so if you're looking for something to contour with, I wouldn't recommend this one. I do like it a lot, and it has been a go-to bronzer for me recently. I'm really sorry if these swatches aren't doing the bronzers justice. I don't know how other YouTubers do it, but for some reason I can't swatch bronzers and get them to show up on my skin. I feel like they always just sheer out whenever I swatch. Really sorry if they're kind of hard to see. I guess that's good because you kind of want a subtle bronze. Well, at least I personally want like a subtle bronze. Let's do bronzing palettes now. This is the Revolution Pro 4K bronzer palette in the shade Cool. I like this one the most. Like, this is the shade that I use the most often. The shimmery one's okay. It's just not super duper shimmery, so I don't really see the point of this top one. Honestly, I don't really see the point of these two either. They're quite similar. I feel like there could have been more variety in this palette with the shades, but overall the formula is good and I have been liking this one a lot. I just feel like it's a little redundant, like a little bit redundant. I also have the Maybelline MasterBronze Bronze and Highlight Kit. I used to love this palette so much. I remember reaching for it every single day for a while, and then I stopped using it. I don't know why. I think I just maybe wanted to test out new things, or I kind of just got tired of using the same old every single day. But it is a nice palette. I liked the fact that it was subtle. I didn't have to worry about over bronzing. I feel like the products in here have gotten a little old and there's some hard pan happening here. I think I'm actually going to give this one away to a sister. I did like this one a lot for a while. I just haven't been reaching for it lately. Sometimes powder products age really well and I feel like sometimes they don't, and this is one that didn't, and I'm not sure I want to keep using this one. You know what was really good in this palette was actually the highlighter, but because this is a bronzer video, I'm not going to talk about that. But the highlighter is really nice. We have a little duo to talk about. This is such a good product, and it's the Wet n Wild Megaglow Contouring Palette in the shade Dulce de Leche. I love, love, love the formula of this. It is very powdery, like you're gonna get a lot of fallout and kickback in the pan, but it's so, so nice and it looks beautiful on the skin. I actually think I might move this one back into my everyday makeup drawer. I feel like this is one of the only and also the best products like this at the drugstore. From e.l.f. we have their contour palette. This is in the shade Light. It comes with a bronzer and a contour shade as well as a setting powder and a highlighter. Also, these little squares pop out so you can replace them with other pans from their 4-pan palettes like this. I actually love this. I think it's one of the best contouring palettes like this at the drugstore. e.l.f. is one of my favorite brands. They do a really, really good job with powder products. I know this is old, but it is so good. It still works really well. It's a really good quality contour palette. This is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Contour Palette. I've talked about this quite a bit on my channel. It is such a good palette. All the mattes in here blend really, really nicely. They're very soft and finely milled. Just a good palette overall for the price point, the number of pans you're getting, the quality of the powders. I just think it's one of the better full panned palettes like this at the drugstore. I know NYX has one, and NYX was like one of the first to come out with a palette like this at an affordable price, but I never did end up trying that NYX one. When I bought this one, I just never wanted to buy another one that was this big. This kind of fulfilled all of my big contouring palette needs. Hopefully Makeup Revolution still sells this. One more powder product to talk about. This is the Focallure Sculpt Glow palette in the shade Maui, Nights, and Opal. This is a pure contouring shade. It's not a bronzer on me. It's a little bit too cool toned and ashy, but as a way to kind of create shadows on your face and define your cheekbones, this is such a good shade to do that. I want to try out more Focallure because they're not drugstore, but they are affordable. I feel like they have some good quality stuff. This is a really good duo, and I keep this one in my everyday makeup drawer, mainly for the highlighter, honestly, because it's so nice, but also whenever I do want to contour, not that often, but when I do, I like to use this powder to create that chiseled, defined look. Okay, moving on to cream bronzers. I have a couple to share with you. Well, like 4, 5, not a couple. I don't know why I said that. This is the LA Girl Velvet Bronzer in the shade Suede. I think it's the Velvet Bronzer. I use this one so often as like an everyday cream bronzer. A lot of the times I use cream when I go to work just because it's quicker and easier for me. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's just that perfect in-between shade. It works really well with my skin tone. Really like it. Like, I can't think of anything bad to say about this. I use it so often, almost every day. Like, I'd say like at least 3 or 4 times during the work week. It's just so nice, easy to work with, and I love the shade on me. Next, we have this Wet n Wild Megaglow makeup stick. This is in the shade Oaks on You. This is the bronzer that I'm wearing on my skin today. It's creamy, it's easy to blend, it's easy to use, it doesn't dry down that fast, and I like the color as well. It's slightly more mustardy and not as deep as the LA Girl one that I just showed you. I don't know which color I prefer on me. Honestly, they're both really good. And Wet n Wild you can get a lot more easily in Canada. Like, it's at Superstore and Shoppers and things like that. I feel like as soon as I run out of this, I'm gonna go and repurchase it right away. We are almost done. This is from a brand called Quo. You can get Quo at Shoppers Drug Mart. It's a little bit more expensive than your typical drugstore products, but it's not as expensive as high-end makeup. This is from their trio of like little sticks like this. This one doesn't have a shade name, but it's just called Contour. Honestly, I don't even know if this is still available or if it was like a special edition. It's a really, really nice shade. I actually enjoy this shade a lot. Kind of like the perfect natural bronzer slash contour shade, like a bronzer, right in between cool and warm, and it can work as both. The formula of this, however, is not my favorite. I feel like it's a little bit drier and it kind of tugs at the skin more than the other 2 sticks I just showed you. So formula-wise, not the biggest fan, but color, yes. Again, I don't know if you can actually purchase this, and if you can, you have to purchase it in the trio set of blush, bronzer, highlighter. Okay, last stick product I have is the Rimmel Insta Duo Contour Stick in the shade Light. This one comes with a highlighter on one end and a contour on the other. I love the formula of this. I actually think it might have been discontinued. Like, I think Rimmel might actually be discontinuing their Insta line, even though I actually loved their Insta line and I thought there were some good quality products in there. I feel like I don't see it at the drugstore anymore. Hopefully not. I'm wearing this on my cheeks today. I use this mainly to contour, not really to bronze, but just to kind of define my face a little bit. It just blends effortlessly on your skin. Highlighter is good as well, but the contour shade is really, really nice. And last but not least, we have the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. This is the contour shade that I use the most. I feel like the top 2 are just a little too deep. However, this one right here looks really, really nice when you apply it under your foundation. Sometimes when I have time and I have a special event or something like that, I will do cream contouring under my foundation, and this is the shade I will use for that. But when it's applied over my foundation, just like as a cream bronzer, I use this shade. Such a nice formula. Again, e.l.f. is just amazing. Not a super popular makeup product at the drugstore. Like, I feel like not a lot of brands have these cream palettes like this, and I guess maybe they've kind of gone out of trend a little bit. I know for a while cream contouring was super in. But this one's really good in case you're looking for a cream palette. Yeah, it's good. It's a good quality palette. All right, we are done. That is all of my bronzer and contour palettes that I currently own. I didn't really declutter that many. I should have probably got rid of more, but I don't know, probably throughout the year and in 2020, I'm gonna start decluttering my makeup a little bit better, cleaning up my collection a bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you'd like to see next in my Drugstore Makeup Stash series. I've done highlighters and I've done blushes and now I've done bronzers and contours. I can do concealers, foundations, primers, eyeshadow palettes, lipsticks, but I would have a ton of lipsticks, so that would be like a 3-part series in itself. But let me know what you'd like to see next. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Please subscribe if you would like to see more videos, and I will see you in my next one.